Hello there, and welcome into the Pakistan Cricket Show. Looking back at the first day's play at Sydney in the third test between Pakistan and South Africa. And joining me to discuss it is Rana Umair. Hello, Rana. Are you there, Rana?
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah,
Andy. Can you hear
very,
me?
yeah, very good, very good. A pretty crazy day's play, really, when you think about it. At one stage it looked like Pakistan was going to absolutely capitulate, um, but in the end they batted all but one over of the day, and um, in the end, lots and lots of things to talk about. Particularly Ahmed Jamal's batting was just unreal. I absolutely loved every second of the Aussies getting smashed all around the park. Um, but before we get on to that, though, Rana, I want to ask you about this selection. They dropped Imam ul Haq from the side. There was probably a good case to say that Abdullah Shafiq could have been dropped as well, given the way he's been throwing his wicket away lately, and he did again today. But what did you make of the change at the top of the order? Question one. And question two, what do you make of Shaheen Shah Afridi deciding he didn't want to play in this match, and why should he get to decide if he doesn't want to play?
Yeah, thanks, Andy. Talking about Imam first, honestly, that was on the cards. Like the way Imam was playing, like we all know that he has been staying on the wicket like for 30 or 40 odd balls. But again, the direction which has been set by our new captain, Shan Masood, he wants the team to play aggressively. He knows that how Australia plays. We cannot defend and think that okay we can win a test match. So he has actually set the tone. But Imam, he was not up to the mark honestly. So it was on the cards. So we need an aggressor on the top order, and Sam Ayub was one of the option. They exercised that, but unfortunately, he got a very unplayable delivery as per his standard. He was on debut on the very second ball. He got that ball, so he got out. But I think yeah, that is a fair call. To be honest, like Imam was not playing as expected. So like he was facing many balls, like he was getting start, but he was not carrying out and like building up a strong foundation for the team. On the other hand, I believe that Abdullah Shafiq has been doing well. He can defend and attack both. He has shown us glimpses of both of his games. He can defend, he can go aggressive as well. So I think in the long run, what the modern day cricket demands, yes, we do need an aggressor on the top order. Take an example of David Warner, how he, with his aggressive approach, how he actually manipulate the bowling. He like it changed the entire scenario just in a matter of 30 minutes or 1 hours. He puts the other team entirely in the back foot. So I think in the long run, Saim Ayub can play the similar role.
Right, and
And yeah.
what about Shaheen Shah Afridi? Because you know, I I was very surprised that he got left out when I heard that yesterday. I thought he was just coming into form actually and starting to bowl really well. And of course, there's a test match to be won. But Wasim Akram and Waka Yunus, I think if anyone's the right people to comment on it, Waka said it was an absolute shocker, and Wasim said, "Well, you've got a choice. You can be a millionaire or you can be a great player." So, what's your opinion on Shaheen Shah Afridi deciding to sit this one out?
To be honest, no one was expecting this thing. Couple of reasons, as you just mentioned, that he was getting back into his form. During the second test at the MCG, we have seen a lot of improvement if we compare with him his performance in the Perth test. But again, like how team management has been thinking, like lately they have been bamboozled with the number of injuries. Like their premier fast bowler, if I talk about Naseem Shah, has been ruled out from the World Cup. So I think the team management is thinking towards the T20 World Cup, which is going to be happen in USA and West Indies in June. So really don't want to get overburdened. Shaheen, they know that if they see his fitness, so he certainly cannot be overburdened. So that could be the only reason they have left him out. Although on the other side, we had Pakistan team had very crucial points on the card. Like if they win this test match, obviously they can have some better on the point table of the World Test Championship. But again, I think they are more focused towards the T20 World Cup,
Well,
and they don't want to get him overburdened. So that could be the
okay,
only reason.
that's fine, and I understand that. So there's a couple of things. I mean, if it's that he's managing his let's say his workload or whatever his fitness. I mean, he's bowled 100 overs in the first two tests, right? He's bowled 40 more overs than anyone else on either side. I mean, is there not a case to say that Pakistan management and the captain Shan Masood overbowled him? And he's probably said, well, I need to, I can't do everything myself. So maybe actually Shan Masood and the team management are at fault.
See, like that was the demand of the situation. Like the number of overs he actually bowled, that all depend how well Australia batted. So that was the case. Like they had no other option just to go towards the premier fast bowler who was Shaheen. So yeah, the number of overs he has bowled, like it seemed very high, but again, like in Australia, it happens. We have a history of bowling long spells. A lot of our fast bowlers used to go on to the Australia tour, get back injured just because on those hard surfaces they had to bowl long spells. So yeah, mm, it happens. But again,
Yeah.
if you take my opinion, so I think it was a fair call to bench Shaheen, because again, yeah, we have lost it in the test series, but again, like the focus should be on the upcoming ICC tournament. So because Mir Hamza bowled pretty well in the last game, Hassan did a like fair enough job, and we needed one spinner as well for the Sydney test. So yeah, fine. Like I think dropping or actually resting Shaheen for
Yeah.
the T20 games in the future, I think that's a fair call.
Well, and I suppose, I mean, just to finish this part of it off, I mean, I suppose one thing that you could, justify it on is that, I mean, the selectors have kind of made their own bed here, haven't they, by making Shaheen the T20 captain, and there's a series in New Zealand starting in, 9 days' time. So obviously he's going to play in all five matches there. Whether that was a right call or not is another matter. I mean, personally, I would have made Mohammad Rizwan the captain, but he is the captain, Shaheen, and he's going to play all five matches. So I guess there's a rationale for it. Anyway, let's move on to the day's play today. So, I mean, it couldn't have started any better for Pakistan. They won the toss. Shan Masood elected to bat, and they got through to 313 off the 71 overs, and it wasn't pretty early on. Both openers only faced two balls. Shan dug in and made 35. I actually woke up this morning here in Indonesia. The very first ball I saw when I turned the TV on was a sumptuous cover drive by Bubba for four, and he looked really good for his 26. Mohammad Rizwan scored a really good 88. Aga Salman made 53. And then Ahmad Jamal at the end, 82. Absolutely brilliant. So a lot of highlights for Pakistan today, especially keeping Australia out in the field all day. But I'm just a little bit worried about Abdullah Shafiq at the moment. I mean, in the second test at Sydney when they were chasing 300, he chased a wide one off Mitchell Stark early on, out for a duck. He did exactly the same thing today.
Yes. So yeah, let's start with like one by one. Talking about the Blur Shafiq, yes, that was not a ball to get out on. Like it was a wide delivery. You have just faced one ball. Why would you do that? Everyone knows how the Sydney pitch behaves. Like if you have won the toss, yes, definitely bat first. It's only a matter of 30 to 40 30 minutes or maximum 1 hour where ball is going to swing and swing. And after that, it is going to be a belter for where you can score run easily. I don't know what was happened to him, why he was such in a hurry that he had to go for a drive, for a rash drive early on in the inning. So yeah, so that was a real blunder, or you can say a wicket gifted to the Australian bowlers.
Well,
So
I
yeah,
thought,
he's like
I,
still new.
yeah, I mean, I was interested in Simon Katich's comments in the last test. I think it was in the tea break on one of the days, and Simon Katich says, from what I've seen from Abdullah Shafiq, he could be even better than Baba Azam. He's that good. But this is Abdullah Shafiq. I've seen him play quite a lot because I've been to Pakistan quite a lot recently, and he's obviously a very, very talented player. But for all the talent in the world that you've got, when you're opening the batting, you've just won the toss. You chase a ball that's his foot was nowhere near the ball to a left arm over the wicket bowler. I mean, what was going to happen? I mean, there's like 3 slips in a gully. What was he expecting to be the outcome of that shot? Was he trying to make a statement of intent, sort of like Zach Crawley did in the Ashes? Or do you think his mind's a bit scrambled after his fielding effort in the last test?
Yes, and like it's not a problem only with Abdullah Shafiq. There are a lot of batters within Pakistan team who has got immense talent, but again they've got a bad habit of throwing away. And the similar thing happened today. Like there is no doubt, Abdullah is a very very talented batter. Plus, technically he's very sound. And I believe it would be fair enough to say that after Babar, in the current cricket team, Abdullah Shafiq is the one on which the entire Pakistan team can bank on. But again, he needs to prove that. In his short career so far, he has played a couple of match-winning innings in the fourth inning, which were highly valuable in the game context. But again, he's still young. He needs to learn that okay, give respect to the conditions, whatever you face early on. And I think he did well in the Perth test and in the second inning of MCG as well. But again, like he threw away today, so he needs
Yeah,
to learn. He needs to understand the condition first.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
again, like if I compare it to Babar Azam, it would be too early. But again, yeah, if not Babar, then yes, on Abdullah Shafiq, definitely the team depends upon him.
okay, and speaking of Bubba, I mean, for a guy that's under pressure, and I mean, I don't know how much you follow online on Twitter and everything, but I sort of had to race to his defence the other day, and I mean, I'm not sure if you know or not, but I've got a 95% or 99% of the people that follow me on Twitter are from Pakistan, and that's only because I've been to Pakistan, 5 times in the last couple of years. And I had to sort of race to his defence the other day. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Bubba's lost it. He needs a rest." And I've said, "Well, hold on a sec. He was captain for 3 years in all formats. He was jettisoned by the selectors and forced to resign. Now he's gone back to just a regular player in the side. So just cut the guy some slack, please. And it's almost like if Bubba gets out for less than 300, his place in the side is under question. But he came in today with the score on 4, so 2 wickets down for 4 runs. And I thought he looked really, really good today. I mean, I'd been awake for about 5 minutes, and he hit 3 cover drives for 4. Then he pulled one through mid wicket. But he came unstuck. Although it was a very good ball from Pat Cummins. I mean, it swung late. Wouldn't say it was unplayable, but it was an excellent ball for Bubba to get out. So, what was your feeling on Bubba's knock today?
See, like the way he played those 3 cover drives, he looked in immaculate touch. And I was thinking, yeah, today's the day. He should be getting some big runs, but again, that happened, and it happened in the entire series. Like Australians are they are very sharp-minded people. Like they come up with a plan, and the entire series, what I have seen is that they allow him to score few runs. They allow him to score few runs on the cover drives, like his favorite shot. and suddenly an in dipper will come in and will get you the wicket of power. And similar thing happened today. He has been struggling with the in dippers, and talking about the class of Pat Cummins. Obviously, if a person is struggling on in dipper, so he's not going to spare that better. So definitely he's going to take that wicket. So again today, Australia were good enough in executing their plans. They knew Babar is struggling with the in-dippers and similar thing happened. He was playing fluently when he was getting the ball to drive, but again, and one in-dipper and one in-swinging delivery came up and he actually struggled. Like initially, umpire did not give him out, and then they thought about taking a review. So, but unfortunately, more than 50% part of the ball was hitting to the stump. So yeah, but again, like see, Babar is under immense pressure. There is no doubt. For entire 1 year, he hasn't done like anything which could have been regarded as a match-winning knock or which could have contributed towards the team's victory. And this year, the entire nation and even the entire cricket fraternity is hoping Babar to score some runs. And today, like getting out after getting set, playing so fluently, so this should have again could have again dented Babar confidence. So let's see how he performs in the next inning. But again, like Australia are like great in executing the plans. Similar thing
Yeah,
happened.
oh look, you're absolutely right. I mean, even in the second innings at Melbourne, when he got through to 41, and then he got bowled by Hazelwood, I think it was, and Cummins has had him 3 times in this series, and that happens, right? I mean, it happens to all players. I mean, Glenn McGrath, for example, he had an amazing record against Sachin Tendulkar and Brian Lara, so it does happen. And let's face it, Pat Cummins is in unbelievable form at the moment. He's got 18 wickets in this series. He took another 5 wickets today. So there's actually not a lot of shame in Bubba, falling to Pat Cummins. And it's swung a lot, right? I mean, Pat Cummins is not bowling at 100 miles and 100 kilometres an hour. He's bowling a lot faster than that. So I don't think there's too much shame in the way that Bubba got out today, and I think he's shown enough in the last couple of innings that he's actually not far away from scoring runs. And of course, there's still the second innings to play here, but I'd love to carry this conversation on because actually there's a pattern with Bubba emerging now, is that he struggles with the ball coming into him, whether it's an off spinner or it's a right arm pace bowler. The ball coming into him, he struggles with it, and I wonder whether he needs some sort of temporary fix to perhaps move across the crease and take a guard maybe closer to off stump or something. But he's got a few days to relax after this series and well, not relax. I mean, he goes to New Zealand, of course, to play in the T20 series, which is a different proposition altogether. But I think we should move on from Bubba. I suppose two other things to talk about today or 3 actually. Saud Shakil was out for 5. Caught Kerry bowled Cummins. He got hit on the around about the collarbone. I forget if it was off Cummins or Hazelwood, but he was clearly shaken. But for a guy that's made such a good start to his test career prior to this series, I mean, I think he's got one of the best records of not scoring under 20. He's been a bit disappointing in this series so far.
Yes, absolutely. Like the way he started his test career, so everyone was expecting a lot from him during this series, especially the way he got out. Like, and let's talk about today. Like, everyone knows the pitch we have, or the wicket we have in Sydney, that does not offer a lot of bounce if we compare with Perth and Melbourne. And like bounce was pretty much manageable. And again, like the way he got out, he could have easily left that ball. He had thrown his wicket. Like the bowler was not the one who actually took the wicket. He actually gifted his wicket. So I believe that whenever you goes overseas, like out of Asia, any Pakistani or Indian batter, so like they have played the first 2 tests where the bounce were pretty much high. I believe he was not expecting that amount of low bounce in Sydney. So things change from like ground to ground, but since he's new to the cricket arena and during first time in Australia, so he's might not able to adopt to the conditions. But again, like today's dismissal, he can only blame himself. Like he just
Yeah,
threw his bat
I mean
away.
it
He
was
could have easily done that.
his. I mean a bit like Abdullah Shafiq. Um,
Yeah,
it was a bit like Abdullah Shafiq. The ball was going across him. Actually, no, it wasn't. Cummins was round the wicket. But the ball was so far away from his body, no foot movement. But as you say, he didn't need to play that shot. But you know, maybe that's a good juncture to move on to the innings by Muhammad Rizwan, who you know he started off in quite crazy fashion. I mean, the shot that he played off Josh Hazelwood was, you know, not a
yeah.
particularly bad ball, and he just lifted it over square leg for six. But then I noticed what he did after that. He's like, right, I know what you guys are going to do now. You're going to set me a trap on the leg side, and then Hazelwood bowled this line just outside off stump, and Rizwan just let them go through to the keeper. You know, he played it so well, you know, with his team in all sorts of trouble, of course, at this time. And he went on to make 88. I mean, I missed his dismissal. I actually fell asleep, not because of Rizwan's batting, but I just, you know, I was lying on the bed watching the telly. But what did you make of Rizwan's innings?
Like Rizwan has been the savior whenever Pakistan has toured overseas, like especially these countries like South Africa, England, New Zealand, and Australia. Again, he hasn't. It's not for the first time he has played such innings for the rescue. Like in the last instances, you could have seen that he played very aggressive shot and changed the momentum of the game. And when last in Pakistan, when toward Pakistan, similar sort of situation, he played 98 90 plus inning. I remember. So like today again, like the team is down with 4 wickets. Like and even when Shan got out, so Pakistan were 5 down. Both Rizwan and Salman Agha played very positive, and that the shot he played to Hazelwood for the six, that is his T20 speciality. So we like everyone would have enjoyed T20 flavor as well. So again, like Australia knew that he has been playing shots on the left side. All the short balls have been going in that direction. So eventually he fell into the trap. So he could have made it like, see, he's not, you can say, like a power hitter. He's not a power hitter, actually. He's more of a timer. So if you are not a power hitter, so not every time you are going to clear the boundary. So that's the point he should have remembered that, okay, they have set me a trap. They have got a couple of fielders on the left side. So he could have avoided that shot. But apart from the dismissal, the way he played, excellent innings in the
Yeah,
context of the game.
yeah. I mean, I've just got so much admiration from Rizwan, or for Rizwan, I should say, and it's kind of staggering that, you know, he wasn't even the side at the start of the tour, and it was only a double failure at Perth by Safraz that allowed him to actually take his place. And I think he's a much better wicketkeeper than Safraz anyway. Plus, he's much younger. There's all sorts of reasons for him to be in the side, and you know, I think as a number six batsman, he's brilliant. I think he brings so much energy to the team. You know, he got them back into the game today, and yes, okay, he fell into a trap at the end. But you know, 88 off 103 balls, 10 fours, 2 sixes, very impressive. But actually, it's kind of funny with the way that the day finished in the end is that the Aussies, for whatever reason, it's kind of a bit unlike the Aussies. Kerry O'Keefe was saying this on commentary actually. He was saying the Aussies are setting leg side traps. That's not what they do. You know, they attack the stumps. They try and nick guys out. They try and bowl them. But actually they had some success with this because Aga Salman, once he got to 53, he pulled one to square leg. Sajid Khan did exactly the same thing. He pulled one to mid wicket where Nathan Lyon took the catch. But then, and then Hassan Ali, he also fell into the trap, and so at that stage, when Hassan Ali got out, Pakistan was 227 for 9. But what Australia didn't bank on was that when Ahmed Jamal was at the wicket with Mir Hamza, who, by the way, made 7 not out off 43 balls today. So, for a number 11, that's exactly what you need. And I thought Ahmed Jamal played it absolutely beautifully. He didn't always take the runs when they were on offer. He protected Mir Hamza. I mean, he batted like someone that's, an experienced player, but he's in his third or fourth match. But he took this Australians on with the trap, and they actually didn't really know how to react. And Kerry O'Keefe was on commentary saying, "Just pitch the ball up, try and hit his stumps." But he was absolutely superb, and it was almost like the longer he went on, the more his confidence grew, and eventually he fell for 82, and you could see he was so disappointed. He had a chance to make 100, but he was just outstanding today, wasn't he?
Yes, absolutely. Like Amir Jamal, in the second Test match, he had shown the world that he's capable enough to bat, and even in the domestic circuit as well, he have played a couple of innings. So, like even like the Pakistan fans who knew that they are just an inch away from one good inning from Amir Jamal, and today he produced. And the most amazing thing was like he batted with number 11 bat and batted very sensibly. Not many, you cannot expect this sort of sensible inning from a number 9 batter, like the way he batted. We used to see Mamun like bat with number 11 in such a way, and yeah, that was really amazing. And initially, he actually struggled, like with the short balls. Maybe he was not getting used to the pace, but once he got used to that pace, so he started taking on the paces on the short ball. And after that, like I don't know why Australia kept on bowling these spinners. Was that like they were taking very lightly that okay, even Loin, Labuschagne, they can get us a wicket. They didn't bowl the paces that enough. That's what I personally feel. Like again, they could have thought that like okay, let's bowl a couple of overs from Hazelwood or Stark. They did that very late. So yeah,
Yeah,
so like
you're right. They sort of went into panic mode, didn't they? The Aussies.
yeah.
They're like, oh, we've only got one wicket left. It's going to come easy, and
Yeah.
Amir Jamal was playing shots all around the wicket, and yeah, I mean, as you say, I mean, they brought Manas Labuschagne on. He bowled 3 overs at the end. Travis Head bowled an over. Um, in that situation, what you want to do, well, this is what I would have done if I was in Australia's position, is defend. Just make sure you don't give them balls to score runs off, and get to the end of the over so you can attack the other guy. But that's why I say Mir Hamza deserves a lot of credit as well, because he batted for, I think it was about 80 minutes in the end. It was a long time. And anyway, Pakistan got through to 313, but we can't end the show without talking about Pat Cummins again, can we? I mean, isn't he just like his he's just so impressive. And I heard all sorts of stats about his strike rate in Australia and stuff, but to be on 18 Test wickets, 3 consecutive 5 wicket bags. I mean, what a player, and what a year he's had. Or sorry, I know it's a new year now. He's just sensational, isn't he, Pat Cummins? And a very excellent captain, and comes across as such a genuine and likeable, uncontroversial person too.
Yes, absolutely. Like talking about Pat Cummins, like getting 5 for 3 in a row, it's absolutely amazing. Like talking about his accuracy, he's so accurate. Like, and I remember like even during the MCG test as well, whenever a partnership was getting built up by the Pakistani batters, he used to come back for a spell of 3 to 4 overs, and every time he got the wicket. So definitely he was far ahead among the fast bowlers from Pakistan and from the Australian bowlers as well. Talking about the captaincy, I still remember when he was announced as a captain of Australia. People were thinking fast bowler captaining Australian side. People like but not sure that how is it going to be. but results were amazing. You could see that he has won the World Test Championship. He has retained the Ashes. He has won the World Cup out of nowhere against India in the Indian conditions. And again, well, talking about his performance in the Test match is super. Like it's not easy to get fivers in a row. Absolutely exceptional performance from him.
And also
Yeah.
his captaincy, though. I mean, everyone assumed that Australia would bat first in the World Cup final, but he said, no, I reckon we can bowl these guys out. And I think that aspect of his play is very underrated. I mean, everyone thinks he's a good captain. He doesn't create controversy, but even like in the Ashes, he on day one he thought, right, I'm going to deny England runs, right, at Edgbaston. I'm going to deny them runs. And, there was so much criticism that, he had sweepers out early on and everything. But he's obviously a very clever captain.
Exactly, exactly. Like when he took the decision of bowling first in the World Cup final, I believe 80% of the people were of the opinion that he has done the mistake. But he had got the plans which he executed very skillfully, and at the end he won the World Cup. He might not be that much active in the field, which you could have seen many other captains talk about Virat Kohli when he used to be a captain of India and Rohit Sharma as well. They are very active.
Rana, are you there?
Hello, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
got dropped
gotcha,
off.
gotcha.
Yeah, so he's a very clever captain. You might not see him getting active or like getting too harsh with his players or making so much noise, which a lot of other captains do when they are in a panic situation. But no, he's a very skillful captain and sharp-minded. Whatever it's not like he's got only plan one. He's got multiple plans in his mind. Like as soon as any plan gets failed, he's quickly switched on to the other and eventually gets result for his team. Yep,
Well,
he would
and
be one of the greatest captain in the history.
I think though I can think of an example of. I'm not saying it's the same how it works with this Australian team, but I remember when Virat Kohli took over from MS Dhoni as the captain. I forget which format it was, but I specifically remember Virat fielding at cover or wide mid off or something. And at that time, he obviously said to MS Dhoni, look, you just take care of the field settings. Let me take care of the tactics. And I don't think it works the same in the Australian team, but I get the feeling that Pat Cummins has a lot of support from other guys like Steve Smith, probably David Warner, probably, various players, which gives him the freedom. And I think sometimes this is underestimated when it comes to captaincy. Giving the captain a little bit of freedom just to think about what to do next, what to change, like more of a strategist rather than a tactician, if you know what I mean.
Yes, obviously, like having experienced lads within your team, so definitely it'll help. So honestly, it is quite different from the Asian culture. Hey, like in Asian teams, if a captain is young and he's got more experienced folk within his team, so that sometimes just backfires. But if I talk about the teams like England, Australia, South Africa, having experienced lad who can give you some good suggestions at the time when it is needed most, so that actually helps the captain. And yes, obviously, Pat Cummins has got the liberty of getting some suggestions from Smith, Warner. Yeah, so
No, I agree. And anyway, we're just pushing on towards the end of the show now. And I know that day two is going to all be about David Warner and fanfare and everything. And to be honest, I absolutely hated the way that the commentators were focusing on this today. It's like, well, hold on a sec. There's a match going on here. It's not all about David Warner. It's not about his lost cap. It's not about the fact that he's just retired from one-day international cricket again to keep seeking the limelight. I mean, I heard he's going to retire from basket weaving tomorrow as well. But obviously it will be about David Warner tomorrow, and I'd love to see him get knocked over cheaply. But Pakistan is right in this match now. They've batted the whole day. Australia's going to get fined, by the way, because they didn't bowl their overs fast enough today. But what's your anticipation for tomorrow? I mean, with Pakistan coming out to play with their bowling attack, I mean, they had one over from Sajid Khan tonight, but obviously they'll probably start with the quicks tomorrow. Without Shaheen Shah Afridi in the attack, what's your anticipation, based on what you've seen today, for what might happen tomorrow?
See, the first inning total, like whatever happened today, obviously Pakistan were in a very bad situation and they recovered eventually. And looking to that situation, the current total looks good. But again, if I talk about the average score, what we have in over here in Sydney, so that's obviously more than 400. So well below par as of now, I must say.
Looks like we've just lost Rana at the wrong moment. But Warner's created under on himself. Australia hasn't exactly been. I mean, they dominated the first test, but they haven't been dominant in Melbourne, and they haven't been dominant today. So I think Pakistan's right in this, and so yes, as Rana alluded to, all remains to be seen for day 2. And I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Pakistan